everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm here with Katarina. She is from the Portugal Tourism Board, and she is going to share with us all of the wonderful things about Portugal. And I'm excited for everybody to be here and share this amazing country that you can see a lot and see the whole country in, a week's time or 2 weeks' time if you want to really get into the smaller place to see. So welcome, Katarina. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Katarina. I was born and raised in Porto, that is in the north of Portugal. I work as a product manager for Visit Portugal in the United States, and I'm based in New York. We will start this webinar with an update about Portugal, followed by a presentation about the country and its offer. Then we will talk about each region of Portugal, which are 7, and finish with 4 examples of tours. We will send the PowerPoint after the presentation with all the information, so please don't worry about taking notes. And please feel free to ask wherever you want. In the end of the presentation, I will be glad to help you and to answer the questions about my country. So to start, let's show you a video.
It's time to stop. It's time to look out for each other in the distance. Time to stare humanity in the eyes. To take a break for the world. It's time to stop. Time to make a pause so we can play again. To think of everyone and meet no one. To reset, recenter, switch off, to move on. Time to change our little world. To calibrate the path of mankind. It's time to stop. We are meant to connect and we are stronger together. But separated, we are today more united than ever. And for now, our main strength is to be apart. It's time to stop. Nature, landscapes, beaches and monuments aren't going anywhere. They will still be there waiting for a better time to be lived. And we must do the same for a while. It's time to stop. The perfect time not to visit anything. Sometimes to rise is to stand still. It's time to stop. Stop and think of ourselves. Think of everyone else too. It's time to stop and refocus as a whole for all. It's time to understand and respect our times. Respect one another. The faster we stop, the sooner we will bond again. It's time to dream of those amazing days to come. For when those days arrive, we will say again.
I hope we fell in love with our Portuguese images. This is a lot about our country, and you can find all these landscapes here in this video there. So just a few key data about Portugal. We have 1.2 million guests from the US in 2019. We were nominated as one of the safest countries for LGBTQ travelers with constitutional protection against discrimination based on sexual orientation. We actually are creating more hotels. In 2019, we had 60 new hotels, and we think in 2022 we'll have 180 new hotels for welcome tourists. In Portugal, you don't have to worry about communication because 60% of the Portuguese people speak at least one foreign language. So it's really easy to communicate. Almost everyone speaks English and understand it. Portugal is the most western country of Europe with a strong historical link to the sea. We have heritage and culture, 900 years of stable frontiers. We have UNESCO World Heritage Sites and other statuses. It's a national network of 146 museums, 800 national monuments, and more than 2,500 buildings classified as having public interest. Also, we have our big and great coastline. Actually, we have 522 miles of coastline of golden sandy beaches, and we have sunshine 250 days a year. Our climate is really good, so you can travel to Portugal during all year. We have mild winters and hot summers. During summer, the weather can reach the 75 to 120 degrees, and during winter, it reaches 66 to 70 degrees. During the summer, we actually have 12 hours of sunlight, and during winter, it's approximately 7 hours. So I can say that our biggest assets in Portugal is our people. I think people are really welcome, really friendly, and I'm sure that you will notice that when you arrive there. We take great pride in our country and know the pleasure of well receiving our visitors. So Portugal is also a safe and tolerant country for everyone, independently of their religious background or sexual orientation. We welcome all people in our country. We have also a diverse gastronomy throughout the country and a unique indigenous grape varieties. So our wines are very well known. Just to end, I just have to say that we also offer in Portugal, we also offer amazing value for money, and the tourism offers the highest quality. Now, about wine that I was talking about before, Portugal is a country of strong wine tradition, and the excellent quality of its wines is recognized across the world. Awards wining wines and olive oils created by a new generation of winemakers producing great quality wines and indigenous grapes, as I told you before. About the Portuguese cuisine, has everything to please even the most discerning palates because it is based on genuine quality products. Actually, we have a lot of experience from farm to table. We use a lot of organic products and Portuguese-made products. New Portuguese chefs actually are bringing a new twist to the Portuguese dining scene, but we still cook according to traditional recipes or to the most innovative and unusually trends. We have a diverse gastronomy to the north to south and east to west, and not to mention the islands. Portugal is also a great country to explore by car. As Darby told us, it's easy to travel around and in a short period of time. Explore the interior of Portugal along the National Road 2 as it crosses the country from one end to the other. From the Chaves, that is in the north, really close to the Spanish border, to Faro, that is like all the way to the south on the Atlantic coast, the longest road in Portugal has a host of stories to tell you. The perfect itinerary for exploring the culture and also different landscapes of the country and all its authenticity. Portugal also may be it's not also, Portugal may be only a small country, but still the variety of its landscapes, it's a pleasure to discover it. In Portugal, you can find 47 protected areas that occupy 23% more or less of the territory, where you can find breathtaking sceneries. Wherever you like, if adventure or not, here you can find soft adventure destinations like just walking, cycling, or if you like more radical things, you can rafting, you can rock climbing, canoeing, horseback riding as well, water sports, all sorts of outdoor activities we promote. We are fully committed in developing our tourism industry in a sustainable way. And we have more or less 2,336 miles of certified trails. Portugal is also well known by surf. Surfing is an activity that lasts 365 days a year, meaning we surf all year, right? So Portugal is the most attractive European country for surf all year, and the only one country in Europe with a surf reserve in their stadium. We have surf for starters, so if you want to start to practice, but also for pros, for sure. Portugal is a stage of a global surf events and competitions. For example, the Big Wave Challenge in Azores. Portugal offers a roadmap of temples, devotions, and religious festivals. We have two ways, the St. James Way, Caminho de Santiago, and the Fatima Way. The ways of St. James, you have different ways to do, and a lot of numbers of ways, actually, depending on the pilgrims' points of departure. But currently, we can find like three main caminos that are Northern Way, Inland Way, and Central Portuguese Way. In Fatima Ways, Fatima Ways dates back to the operations of Fatima in 1917, and are roads which in Portugal are traveled on foot or by bicycle, by pilgrims heading to the shrine of Fatima. This is really connected to the religion, and also we have the Jewish heritage in the other side. We have three biggest communities in Portugal, that is Lisbon, Porto, and Belmonte, where you can find synagogues designed for worship. However, you can find also Jewish heritage in many other places in Portugal, such as Carção, Bragança, Guarda, Trancoso, and others. Portugal is also a land of romance. The Sintra woods and palaces, the coast with the beautiful beaches, and the farms in the interior of the country make Portugal a perfect romantic destination. Actually, Sintra was named as one of the most romantic destinations in 2019. Portugal is well known by golfers. We have 91 golf courses for all levels and handicaps, with different scenarios and architectures. The main two areas are Algarve and Lisbon, and mild climate, as I said before, during all year, welcome golfers from January to December. We have two main competitions happening, the Portugal Masters during October and the Open de Portugal during September. Even both events are in Algarve. Portugal is also known as one of the top MICE destinations in Europe, hosting events such as Web Summit, GLAX from the Explorers Club in New York, and many other M&I events. Portugal actually is top 10 ranking worldwide on International Congress and Convention Association. So what about the regions? We have 7 regions. We have the Porto and the northern of Portugal. Then we have the center of Portugal. We have Lisbon, where we have the capital. We have Alentejo. And then in the southern part, we have Algarve. Also, we have the 2 islands, Madeira and Azores. About Porto. Porto is a World Heritage City with ancient churches and monuments and modern buildings such as Casa da Música and Serralves Museum. It's amazing to walk around Porto in the little streets and get lost. People are really welcome in the northern part of Portugal, and I think you'll be surprised for the way that people will treat you in the restaurants, in the streets, everywhere. In the north part of Portugal, we also have Zolo River, where you can find a lot of wineries and also olive oil production. This is a way to get lost and to spend days just relaxing, for example, or doing active nature, exploring around, or actually, you can also do cruise in Zolo River. This is a landscape. You have the mountains and natural parks, castles, shrines, churches, and rural chapels as well. We also in the north have Guimarães. Guimarães is considered the birthplace of Portugal. So Afonso Henriques, the first king of Portugal, born there. So it's a historical center that is associated with the formation and the identity of Portugal, and is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Cities like Viana do Castelo, Braga, Lamego, Chaves, and Vila Real, with manor houses and stately halls, are filled with tradition and popular folklore as well. So you can find a lot of diversity in this area, mountains, but also sea. You can find a lot of different gastronomy as well, the wine, and the Porto wine as well in Porto, that is very well known as well. It's a region to get lost for sure. In the center of Portugal, we also have a strong culture and heritage for sure. Cities where modernity is combined with tradition. For example, we have Coimbra, that is one of the oldest, that has one of the oldest universities in the world. That still is, it's still in operation actually. We have Aveiro, that people say that is like the Veneza of Portugal, because it's full of little rivers in the city, and has also Heart Novel and river that crosses in the city, as I told. We have Viseu, Guarda, and Castelo Branco, that brings us to a medieval era with their stone architecture. In this area, we also have Fatima. As I told you, we have the ways of Fatima, that is a Camino. As well, Fatima is more or less 1 hour and 15 minutes from Lisbon, and it's one of the top cult destinations for pilgrims around the world, as I told you. We also have Monastery of Akubasa, that is building began in 1178, yeah, and today it's the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So here you can also find a lot of culture, a lot of churches, a lot of heritage too. I just want to speak also about the schist villages and the historical villages. So we have, based on the top of the mountains, we have some medieval castles that were strategically created for lords to stop the invasions and act really quick in the wars. And we have a lot of different villages along the mountains with nature assets, with breathtaking views, and local architecture and palaces. Yeah, a lot of tradition to see here as well. The schist villages are hidden between the mountain valleys, so it's a super unique villages with preserved castles, museums, and monuments, and the pure nature. So now about Lisbon region. Lisbon, as I told you, is the capital of Portugal. It's one of the trendiest cities for city breaks at the moment. We have good public transport system, so it's super easy to travel around the city by train, by bus, and underground. A lot of different bicycle, for example, a lot of different ways to travel around. Here also you can feel the culture, the Portuguese culture, the heritage, and the architecture. We have museums, art galleries. For sure, it's the capital. So here you can feel more the nightlife, the youthful and vibrant city. We also have like music festivals. So it's a city, it's a capital. So for sure, here you can have more fun. But also you have a lot of surroundings areas that are like super beautiful and not so crowded. For example, Estoril, Cascais, Sesimbra, Mafra, and Sintra. They are more or less 30 minutes away from Lisbon, and you can see the sea. They are sea destinations for sure, and you can also feel the romance in Sintra with the castles, and also in Mafra, for example. You can discover the kings and the queens of Portugal. Now about Alentejo, our fourth region. Alentejo, it's a northern coastal Alentejo. It's about 1 hour and 30 minutes from Lisbon Airport, so it's still close. As you can see, it's easy and fast travel around Portugal. Uh, Here you can find Roman era. We have a lot of heritage here. We also have a lot of beaches um, with the highest quality possible, as you can see in the images. We'll preserve coastal area with small havens of sand and beach, hospitable people, and good cuisine. So you have the beaches all along to the coast. Actually, there are also a trail to do along the coast that is amazing. It was my trip last year with my friends, and I have to say I had one of the best times of my life. It's really amazing, just just walking around the nature, and then see heart um, heartbreaking landscapes with all the sea and the amazing beaches that you can find. Also, a thing that a lot of people enjoy to do is horseback riding on the beaches, and you can do it the trails also by horse. That is like quite an adventure, but I think it's funny, and you can see the views, and it will be for sure romantic. Um, Talking about horses, I in this region is also well known by the Lusitano horses. That is a Portuguese horse breed that you can just find here. And other thing that is really well known in Alentejo is the cork. Cork is used to do nowadays not just wine bottles, but also fashion um, houses for architecture, and because it's a good thermal isolation, and you can use for a lot of things. Actually, Google just opened a store in New York with furniture with cork, with Portuguese cork. So it's also a place where we have a lot of cork trees, and you can see and understand how cork is, how people work with cork, and how is it possible to take out of the trees, because it's a quite um, specific way to do it. So I think the only thing that I forgot to mention about Alentejo is the wine. So this country, of course, it's known by the wine, but this region is also one of the biggest wine and olive oil production regions in Portugal. So here you can also find really good wine, and you can go to wineries and see is how is made the Portuguese wine and the olive oil as well. A lot of farm to table experiences here you can find as well. So Algarve, that is the southest part of Portugal mainland. In Algarve, for sure, you can see the sand and the sea. That is like we have an amazing beaches here. You have also adventure holidays, so you can walking, trekking, cycling, horseback riding here as well, and for sure water sports. I don't want to forget to mention that here you have a lot of spas and wellness. So there are a lot of all 5 stars hotels in Algarve that have spas and that are really, really good. So it's a perfect place to relax, to have holidays with the family as well, and to enjoy just the sand and the beach, with a lot of secrets and a lot of different beaches. Also, as I mentioned before, is well known by the golf. We have 40 golf courses in this area, and for people that enjoy culture and heritage, for sure here you can find it as well. You can find it in all Portugal. So museums, architecture, heritage in Silves, Faro, Itavira, in Algarve you can also enjoy. So about islands. So let's start with Madeira. Madeira is heavily linked with the Portuguese discoveries. The Portuguese navigators João Gonçalves Sarco and Tristão Vaz Teixeira arrived on the island of Porto Santo, long time ago for sure, in 1418, the first of our Portuguese discoveries overseas. So in Madeira, you can find gardens, you can find beach, you can find sun every year. You can have adventure holidays because here you can walking, trekking, cycling, get lost in these amazing views as you can see in the pictures. It's an amazing place to rest, but also an amazing place to have a family trip or a youth tourism for sure is welcome as well. You have restaurants areas, popular folklore, festivals. A lot of festivals are taking place here all year round, such as Carnival, for example, is super well known with the parades. We also have the flower festival that's amazing. All the cities covered with flowers, and the Atlantic Festival. And at the end of the year, you have the greatest fireworks display at Funchal Bay. That is super well known as well. Madeira is a super specific city. As you can see in the images, you can find nature, but you can also find culture and different landscapes. The gastronomy is also amazing here for sure, so you don't have to worry about what you are going to eat because for sure you will find great meat, great vegetables, everything made on the island. So I think it's also a great destination. Last but not the least, we have Azores. That is our last region. Azores is an island as well. Actually, is an islet cluster of 9 islands. It's the capital. The capital is Ponta Delgada. We are the main airport. Where is the main airport located in Ponta Delgada? As Madeira, it is also linked with the Portuguese discoveries, scientific discoveries by Portuguese navigators. Here also you can adventure yourself for a holiday. You can do walking, trekking, cycling. Actually, Azores is the perfect place to get lost in nature. You have the mountains, but you also have the sea. And it's amazing how you could like travel all the islands and getting lost in the mountains, but you are always seeing the sea. It's such a relaxing sensation that I think people just understand when you'll be there. I think you will understand it for sure. Here you can also see whales. So Azores is super well known by the whale watching. Azores are currently one of the world's largest whale sanctuaries. We protect the whales for sure, so you can travel, you can see them, but in a protective way. And we have the Pico Mountain, that is a huge mountain and beautiful mountain that you could climbing actually all day, but I think the sunrise there is one of the best sunrise of the world. So this is what I have to say. Of course, you have the culture and heritage as well here. As I told you, it was a Portuguese discovery, so you can find a lot of Portuguese culture. And the gastronomy, it's also amazing, so you don't have to worry about what you are going to eat, because for sure you have traditional gastronomy. You have, for example, cozido dos Azores, that is like different kind of meat. We have queijo da ilha cheese, that is just cheese that is just produced here. That is a very specific cheese with a very specific flavor. We have a huge pineapple plantation. It's super well known by the pineapples. It's one of the symbols of the islands as well. And we have a tea plantation in Europe that is Guyana. But you will have the links of this presentation with all the things, so don't worry. So now I don't know if we have, okay, we still have like 5 minutes. So
Yeah, we have plenty of time.
Yeah, okay. So sorry if I rush when I start talking.
It's wonderful, Karina. Thank you.
It's easy to talk about something that you love, right?
Right.
I just want to give you some suggestions about tours. Like we have to present 4 tours, but of course you can always diversify and see different things. So I will start. I will start with this one. That is the first tour. You can go to Lisbon, center of Portugal, and Porto. So all the way from Lisbon to the north of Portugal. Here in Lisbon, you can walk to different neighborhoods. We these neighborhoods are just suggestions. For sure, you can get lost in different places and different neighborhoods, but we recommend Alfama, Baixo Chiado, Bairro Alto, Belém, Parque das Nações, that are the trendy places, but also the unforgivable places, as you can see in the images. Like they are the most well-known places that you can like see and oh, this is Portugal for sure. You can feel that is Portugal. So for sure you need a second day in Lisbon to get lost in the surroundings. So as I told you, we have Estoril, Cascais, Mafra, Sesimbra, Sintra, where you can do outdoor activities, for example, surfing, but you can also go for get lost in monasteries and churches and the palaces. That is Sintra for sure, as you can see in the picture. And yeah, you can get lost, or just if you want, you can go to the beach. Here you have a lot of different beaches that are good as well. Putting the Havila, for example, it's a great place. So the third day, we recommend to go to the center of Portugal and know a little bit of this region. In Aveiro, you can, for example, do a mulinairo. That's the little boats that you can see on the picture. That you can travel in the river, as I told you, is like the Veneza of Portugal. So it's nice to explore by the little traditional boats. You also have different palaces and castles that you can find, like as I said, chief villages or other historical villages that are amazing to get lost. And the third day, you can also explore this region, going to different cities and try for sure different plates and different cheese and different, for example, in the picture, different pastry. We have the pastel de Belém that is like super well known. That is made with eggs. It's a little tart with eggs. But also we have ovos molos that is also made with eggs. Okay, Portugal loves eggs. That is also, as you can see in the picture, ovos molos. It's from Aveiro. It's a traditional pastry from Aveiro. So if you go to Aveiro, please try at least one. In this area, you can also go to Serra da Estrela. That is like, if you like mountains, it's the highest mountain that we have in Portugal. So it's also a great place to climbing and to do a trail, for example. And you also have a lot of historical villages, I told you, so you can easily get lost here. And then go to Porto and know this little city that is like amazing. You also have the Zolo River and a lot of bridges. You have modern, for sure, modern monuments, but also super old monuments. So you have the Porto wine. Please try the Porto wine after a meal. It's an amazing with sweets. It's a thing that we really recommend. You have a lot of wine wineries, stores of wine in Vila Nova de Gaia, where you also have the World of Wine. That is a new place where you can find museums and restaurants and bars with a view to Porto. So it's beautiful. We welcome you to go to Douro Valley and the northern part of Portugal as well. As I told you, you have the wineries. You can relax in the mountains of Douro or just do a cruise, for example. And but also you have some like Braga and Guimarães that are really like cities that you can find the history of Portugal. You have a lot of churches, you have a lot of historical buildings as well, and it's a very there are very famous cities. Um, and you also have like the beach coast all the way until Spain, like Viana do Castelo. You have little cities like Moledo, Caminha, that are beautiful and super unique. Um, so this is what this is was our suggestion for tour one. This is our suggestion for tour two. So you go to Lisbon, then you go to Alentejo, and then you go to the southern part of Portugal, that is Algarve. So to start, you go to Lisbon 1 2 days, and then you go to Alentejo I think 2 days as well, like the third and the fourth. You can get lost in Beja, Évora, Elvas, Monserrat. Uh, you can do the trails in Costa Vicentina, and as you can see, this is an area where you have a lot of blue and white houses. So wherever village you can find, you will see that that's super typical to see these kind of houses. You can get lost in the nature. You can get lost in a in the more historical villages. You have a lot of different activities that you can do. You can also travel by balloon, for example, in Alentejo. So you have a lot of different experiences. So to end this trip, we will advise you to go to Algarve and to know our beaches better. You have Albufeira, Faro, Lagos, Vila Moura, Sagres, Tavira, Via Algarvina, and Benagil, that is very well known because it has one of the most beautiful beaches, super recognized all over the world, in Benagil. And as you can see, you have a lot of different type of beaches, but all with a long area of sand that allow you to relax and to have a great day on the beach alone or with a family. So the third trip is combining Lisbon or Porto, so one of the main cities, with islands, in this case Madeira. So you spend 2 days, I will say, in Porto or Lisbon, and then you fly to Madeira, for example, to Funchal, Porto Santo, Levadas Trails, Flowers Festival. For example, it's as I told you before, it's a festival that is super well known, super great to see. Or if you would like, or if you would prefer the New Year's Eve, you have the fireworks at the base. So you have a lot of different options, and you can travel to this island all year long. And you can get lost in the nature, or you can just enjoy the weather and the people, and for sure the amazing views that you can find there. You also have the Madeira wine that is super well known and it's super good. You have markets. You have a lot of gardens also to enjoy and to see. You can also travel by boat. You have a lot of diversity gastronomy. So here you can stay for sure 3 days enjoying and relaxing and doing a lot of different things if you want, or just like spending the days and enjoying being in Madeira. The fourth and last tour is combining Lisbon or Porto with Azores, the other islands of Portugal. In this island, we recommend you to stay a few more days because you have the best trails ever. So they take a little longer to know the island, but still you can do it by bicycle, you can do it by foot, you can do it by car. You have different ways to travel around this island, and you have different things to see. But for sure, it's a place to get lost and to see nature and to involve yourself with the nature and to feel Portugal in the best way. So we advise you to go to Corvo, Faial, Flores, Graciosa, São Jorge, Santa Maria, São Miguel, Pico, e Terceira. And as I told you, have the whale watching. That is amazing. It's one of the places in the world that you have this opportunity. As you can see also in the pictures, the pineapples that I was talking about. Actually, we have a volcano there, so you can see the furnace. And the tea that I was talking, the production of tea that I was talking about before as well, and the cheese, the queijo dos Açores. So that's it. That's everything that I have to say about Portugal. I think it's more or less on time. Please tell me what are your concerns, your doubts. Tell me whatever you want, and you can question me whatever you want about the country. I was happy to talk about Portugal and to tell you a little bit more. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. So the wines in Portugal, are they red? I know the port's red, but do they have reds and whites and rosé, and it's all over?
Yes, actually we have all that three, and we have green wine as well. That is a Portuguese type of wine. That is actually, if you go there, please try it. It's different. It's more like the white, but more strong. So
okay, nice.
It's
amazing. I mean, there's so much to do, but it's a small country that if you only have a short amount of time, you can, travel the whole country, and see a lot.
I recommend you in the tours in 7 days, you can see a lot.
Right. And have a different variety of mountains to beaches to the rivers to the oceans and the cities.
So I think in Portugal, everyone can find a place, because we have things for every flavors, every taste.
Wendy and Chris and George, do you guys have any questions?
Have you been there, Darby?
I have not been there yet. No.
It looks beautiful.
Yes. The green is what comes out to me. Like, I know the Azores is very, very green, but even just, all of the, the mainland of Portugal. So it's amazing. Well, Katerina, thank you. I'm going to end the recording now.